people, how did you catch your cheating ex? Caught my ex minimizing a chat window when I walked by her using her laptop. She's never ever done that. She would always leave the window open, but this time she didn't. Immediately I was suspicious. I didn't know who it was, but I knew something was up. Went to bed later that night and she wasn't in the room, but the bedroom window was open. She was on the porch talking to the guy on the phone and I could hear her plans on meeting up with him and what lies she would say to me. She came up and I confronted her with what I'd heard. She admitted she was seeing the guy on the side of the past week. Relationship over. Wow, that is savage. These are gonna be nasty. We decided to order a pizza. My phone was dead, so he tossed his at me on the way to the bathroom and he told me the passcode. I unlocked it, up to find Messenger active on the screen. I was slapped in the face with it. Basically, another woman had sent him pictures of them, together with comments about how it had been a week and she missed him. I dry heaved, confronted him when he came out of the bathroom. He got angry with me, accusing me of snooping. It literally was on the screen immediately when I unlocked it. Eventually, he promised me it was over. I later found out they continued for another 9 months. Poor my phone. Same fate as MySpace. Found a burner phone hidden in the closet. Every night for about 3 weeks, she'd go into the bathroom for a good 15 to 20 minutes. But each time, I'd hear the closet door open and shut. Once as soon as she went in, and once right before she came out. Didn't take long for me to figure it out. Found the phone, saw all kinds of one-sided conversations and several pictures of ex-boyfriends, shirtless co-workers, etc. I confronted her about it. She had all kinds of excuses at first, then tried to turn it around on me for being a snoop. I never believed her. She said she'd get rid of the phone, that she wouldn't talk to any of them again, that she wanted to work things out, etc. I gave it a go, since we were married. 3 months later, found the same phone again in her vehicle when I went looking for jumper cables. More texts, more pictures. Divorce will be final next month. Classic how these people are turning it around on them for snooping. As if. Liars are always found out in the end, and I truly believe that. No matter how smart you think you're being, you will be found out. She literally texted me the whole story, thinking it was being sent to her best friend. Pretty devastating. Lived in a different town after I graduated university. She was locked into her lease for another 3 months, and we decided that it was only a 30-minute drive each way, so the distance wasn't so bad for a few nights I didn't sleep over at her place. We had started looking for homes together. Anyways, I had to miss a weekend due to some family rubbish, and she went to a party. That's fine, whatever. We went to lots of them together, so her going to one without me was no big deal at all. Next morning, I sent her a "good morning" text message and got back, "I don't want you to text me anymore." Okay. The frick? So of course I tried to call, no answer. Texted like a maniac, with a ton of responses like, "We're done, no more." Alrighty, breaking up time, that's fine. But after 3 years together, I want my stuff back. So I drove in that morning. Had a key to her place, so I opened the door. Found her passed out in bed with another guy. She had left her phone at the party, and her friends thought it would be super freaking funny to break up with me, as in it's just a prank bro joke. Best freaking prank ever. I never would have caught her cheating, no suspicions at all, if they hadn't been giant tool bats. So, she wakes up to me packing my stuff, tries to explain, "He had nowhere else to sleep, his clothes are on, nothing happened, we were drunk." She's topless and he's in boxers. Yet I still almost believed her until the guy gets up. Still drunk. Doesn't know I'm there because we're both sitting silently now as I'm fuming, and yells, "Hey, do you want to shower with me or should I just rush out?" No more fuming. Packed my stuff, stormed off. Took her back 4 months later because I was lonely. You all know not to do this. I'm going to remind you not to do this again. She didn't cheat on me again, but after another 2 months together, I just had to know, was it just once? She answered, probably, honestly, to her credit for once, that she cheated on me with 3 or 4 guys. Mostly one-night stands over the course of the last year of our relationship. Knowing just made it worse. I couldn't do it, broke it off, and have never seen her since. I talked to her once on Facebook. She messaged me to tell me a mutual friend of ours died and wanted to go for coffee to talk. I declined. If you've been with someone for 3 years, what friends would find it funny to play a prank like that? Honestly, no idea. But hey, thanks friends, because he found out because of you. My boyfriend was 2 years older than me and started college when I was in junior high school. One Sunday morning, I log onto Facebook while eating breakfast, and some girl has tagged him in a picture where her tongue is down his throat and her naked chest is pressed up against his. High school love never makes it past October of freshman year. Sigh. I liked the picture just to enjoy the panic attack. I'm sure he had one when he realised I'd seen it. We were no more by the end of the day. Classic caught in the lie situation. Told me he was hanging out with his buddy that night, and a little bit later I got a message from his buddy asking if I wanted to hang out. I said, aren't you already hanging out with X right now? And he said, no, X said he was hanging out with you tonight. Oh, absolute classic. My boyfriend of 4 years was cheating on me with lots of women. Looking back, I was so naive not to notice. One of the women was married, and her husband got my number and called to let me know. 6 years later, and now me and her ex-husband have been happily married for 3 years. Yes, classic revenge story. Not even revenge because you're in love. It's a good revenge story, but rate that. He left his house before I did one day. I picked up the phone to call someone I was meeting to let them know I was on my way, and the phone was dead. Investigated and saw that it was unplugged from the wall. Investigated further and saw that the other 2 phones in the house were also unplugged. Obviously, he didn't want to risk someone calling while I was there, so I went straight to where he kept his phone bills. Saw that he called the same number every single night, right after he called me. So I called it and found myself introducing myself to his fiancée. Jaw equals dropped. Please like and subscribe if you've made it this far. I hope you'll enjoy the rest of this video and have a wonderful day. I was sitting in the park when this man I'd never seen or met before came over and sat next to me. He started small talking, but after a few minutes his face changed and he started describing what happened the night before. He described this woman who slept with his roommate and described her, what she sounded like, and what they'd done. It sounded a lot like my girlfriend. And eventually he said, I've seen you with her. So I asked him to bring me to them. He brought me close enough to confirm. Then the 2 of us went out to brunch together. He was a bro's bro. I didn't confront her about it. After a day or 2, the relationship was dead. We dated a good long time, longest I ever dated anyone. And it ended with a mutual, I really don't want to look at you anymore. Didn't talk to her for about 5 to 6 years. And now the 2 of us are friends again. Life's weird. I see her father sometimes, and he asks why I never married her. That's awkward. He didn't marry her because your daughter's a total beep. Saw explicit messages from another woman on his computer that made it clear that something was going on offline and not just on. I wasn't even snooping for it either. I just went into his room to grab something and saw his laptop was on, screensaver up. I asked him if he wanted me to shut it down for him so his battery wouldn't die, and he said yes. I moved the cursor, and there they were. And to be honest, I wasn't even half as insulted by the cheating as I was by the fact that when I asked about it, he tried to make it out like I was crazy and hadn't seen what I thought I saw. Like, no, I know how to read, bro, thanks. The day I lost my job, many years ago, I drove to my boyfriend's without calling for consolation. I found him there with someone else. Worst day ever. Geez, that must have been a kick in the teeth. The first time it was quite by accident. He left an email window open on the computer, otherwise I would never have known. And not because he was so good at covering his tracks. The signs were all over the place. It just simply had never occurred to me that this was someone who could do that to another human being. The second time, I knew what to look for, and he started doing all the same tiny stuff he did with the last one, that he probably didn't even realise he did. There was the typical working on the computer a lot more, and suddenly closing down windows when I walked in the room. But he also did subtle, unconscious stuff. For instance, both these girls were co-workers, and he talked about them all the time to me, but without ever mentioning their names. It was like he couldn't not talk about her, but he was afraid to drop a name in case I was suspicious. So he'd talk about the girl from HR or that new VP who said he did great work, or his cologne was nice, or he was so good at his job. Blah, blah, blah. It was a giant red flag when I caught him doing it the second time. See, repeat actions. You know what to look for. You're the smart one here. But guys, if this isn't a hint, don't ever take him back, okay? If they do it once, don't ever take him back because they will do it again. It's true. I was out of town on business, about 1,000 miles away from our home. It was a weekend in the fall where 2 college football rivals typically played. The wife said she was travelling to the game with a girlfriend, about 200 miles away from our home. Our kids stayed at home. Oldest around 20, youngest around 10. I worked during the game and did not get back to the hotel until late. Called to check on the kids the next morning. Asked where their mother was. Not home yet. Okay, I'd called the wife previously and got weird responses with her driving in the car and odd voices in the background. Later, I called her parents, who lived halfway from our house to the location of the game. We always stopped there to say hi or have a meal. They innocently said, "Oh, she was just here with male person." I just about threw up while on the phone. It was seriously fricked up. Tried to hang on to the marriage for about another 5 years, but she had another affair and that was that. Divorced 2 years, and I am so much better for it now. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more videos coming daily.